All right, fellas, what is going on? This is the most tame and calm Thursday night game of the entire season for me because in my home league and in the flock league, I got no one playing and my opponent has no one playing. So I get to enjoy a Thursday night game for once in my life.
And what are the odds that neither of us have a Ram or Viking this week, eh?
Well, I mean, the Vikings also, I had some people victory lapping me in the DMs after the Bucks lost their two best receivers for my Minnesota Vikings takes. Let me just be perfectly clear. The Bucks losing their receivers doesn't make the Vikings less fraudulent. It's two are mutually
I think you're hating far too much on the Vikings. I'm not gonna lie. Also, I'll be empathetic towards you with the Bucks, but also, where was the empathy for me when we were missing our two best defensive players? I didn't get any. So
I mean, didn't help you on offense, but anyways,
I mean, we're without three of our four best defensive players throughout the year.
Scene. Anyways, let's get into the questions here. We got C. Peterson sends us a super message.
Real.
He says,
sorry, real.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to have Puka questions, I would assume.
Yeah.
I have Laporta, and I want to pick up Otten, drop Charbonnet, Keon, or Shakir. I have Kenneth Walker for the handcuff. I mean, I'm not in the business of handcuffing running backs. I actually would prefer to have Charbonnet than some of the players you have.
The issue that I have here, though, is that especially with no Jameson Williams for the next few games, when are you starting Otten over Laporta? Like, I understand, like, it's a good contemplation question because I think they both project similarly. Obviously, Otten without the two box receivers, Laporta without JMO. But at the same time, it's like, if I have to sacrifice a bench spot to maybe marginally get better at tight end in the short term, I'm just not dropping any of those high upside bench players.
Yeah, I kind of agree, to be honest. I think I don't even think it's an upgrade. Like, I've been very staunchly pro Laporta.
I like Otten too,
being a buy low.
Like, especially this week. Like, I like Otten. I think I have Otten ranked literally tied in 11. I still have Laporta 10 though because JMO being suspended is big. Apparently, he dropped the appeal.
As in, he's getting suspended?
He dropped the appeal, as in he's not appealing anymore. Therefore, he's going to miss the next 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a 2-game suspension, right?
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, the short term, you would pick up Otten for the short term without Evans if 2 of those games you're starting Laporta over him anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brutal, like, I went through it in the Matchups That Matter video earlier today, that it is a bad matchup. It's like a bottom 5 matchup for Sam Laporta this week, but without JMO out there, it's one less target to compete with. And Laporta, like, honestly, it is just Laporta has to play better. Like, that is literally all that needs to happen.
Yeah, and again, I'm lower on Laporta
than you are. Is talented, yes or no? That is the answer to the question.
Yeah, like, straight up in the opportunity that he has, even with the target competition, it's like, we should, at this point of the year, be ranking him over, at the very minimum, Kraft and Engram. Like, I think even if, like you said, going into the year, that Ferguson, Pitts, Kelsey, and Njoku, Kittle, McBride, Bowers would be ranked higher, that's one thing. But being behind specifically Engram and Kraft, it's like, okay, Laporta, like, you're drafting as the tight end 1. Let's figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he's going to figure it out. And I think, too, like, the single week upside still kind of supersedes the more consistent Cade Otton. Who would be like, that would be your rationale here is Laporta's killing me. I need somebody more consistent. And to me, it's just like the tight end position. Obviously, you'd love someone who's both, like, who's more consistent and a needle mover, production wise, but there's very few of those guys that exist. So if you can give me the spike weeks, like we've talked about with George Kittle for like what feels like 4 years, then we'll get it with Laporta. It's coming. It hasn't happened yet. I know it's coming though.
Yeah. By the way, I do shout out Colin as a new member to the channel. Appreciate that. And we also got a comment from Matt saying, how do you super chat? The way to skip the line. So we currently go in order of free questions on YouTube. In order to skip the line, as you can see on the screen, we're over on flockfantasy.com. The link should already be in the chat.
I dropped it. Yeah.
It should be posted at the top there, flockfantasy.com/purchase code FSC. You go to that, you fill in your start, sit, your trade question, or even if you want a team review, you can do that. That is the best way to skip the line because, again, from our perspective, it's more beneficial to us doing it that way than YouTube taking the big cut that they do.
Yeah, we don't want you guys funding YouTube's money.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to support us, it best that it goes, like, we get the majority.
And it's a lot easier putting it on the site than it is through YouTube, to be honest.
It's also easier to answer the question, like you said, and also 90% of it goes to us. The other 10% goes to the devs who run the site or help us, run the site. So it's 100% of it is going to to the creator rather than to YouTube.
That.
Dylan's asking.
Also, shout out new
pickups
member
tonight. He also became a member as well. Shout out to D-Bell, one of my closest friends in real life. Shout out to him.
Sure.
Where do we got here? I have my pick'ems.
Recently just traded for Marv, eh?
He did. Yeah, he did. And I promptly tried to trade for Marv from the guy who traded him away 2 hours after Dylan had already traded for him.
Really? Did you not even know he got traded?
No, I didn't see the trade in the chat, and I messaged Amir, "Hey, do you want to trade? You want to trade Marv?" He's like, "I would, but he's not on my team." And I'm like, "Oh God!" And then I'm like, "Here, who fleeced him for Marvin Harrison Jr.?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought. It's a bad trade." But anyways, pick'ems for tonight. I do have a couple here, and then we'll get back to the questions that we got.
Have a lot of overlap, by the way, I believe.
Yeah, we do. So Kyron Williams higher than a total touchdown there. I actually told Spicy to put in just the rushing touchdowns because it was like even higher or lower. I'm sure he had to pay. Like, it was probably like 0.69x or something on this one, but Kyron to find the end zone basically is the point. I like Aaron Jones to go over 24.5 receiving yards. He averages 31.7 this year. He's been over this total in 3 of his last 5 games, one of which he was 2 yards under this, and the other one he left early against the Jets in London. So I like him to catch some passes tonight, especially the Vikings receivers have a tough matchup. Sam Darnold throw an interception. He's thrown one in every game except for one this year. Colby Parkinson lower than 3.5 receptions. Route participation declining in 3 straight games. And also, too, he has been below this total in half of the games this season. And Cooper Kupp higher than 3.5 rushing plus receiving first downs. I also like the receiving yardage on Cooper Kupp. I was kind of split between which one I actually wanted to go with, but either one is probably fine. I think Kupp is a great chain mover, so we can get to this higher receiving yardage total. Or on the first down side of things, just how you want to play it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'll go through my pick'em as well. So I actually posted this on YouTube. You should have been able to see it. If not, here, let me just drop it in. Get to the comment quickly. Actually, you know what?
Put it in. I'll just quickly shout this out quick too. Of course, if you guys are new to Underdog, you can tail some of the picks that we're talking about here, and new customers can get this Matthew Stafford free square. And of course, make sure to use promo code FSE when you tail the picks for up to 1,000 in bonus cash on your first deposit. And as you know, you get our weekly start sit rankings for free as well.
For sure. And my pick'em list. So I did a 5-parter because I also attached the Luka Doncic higher there. Showed out the free pick there with basketball season back intact. And I mean, speaking of basketball season, I may as well just allude to the fact that my Los Angeles Lakers have all 3 jerseys on deck.
Here for the Raps, you fake Canadian.
Kobe Bryant, Anthony Davis, another Kobe Bryant jersey there. I got the 8 there. So big shout out to my Lakers taking down the T-Wolves on opening night. But with that being said, the rest of the picks, Cooper Kupp higher than 68.5 receiving yards, full practice all week. Does sound like he's fully ready to go. Like we've heard all day, it sounds like Puka's going to be on limited snaps. And we know that Minnesota's been a pass funnel defense, especially as of late. They've been really good against the run, have ceded some points in the pass game. So we love Cooper Kupp, especially in the one game of involvement that we saw him without leaving. He had a 44% target share. Kyron Williams, I don't mind the touchdown, but I do think the overall between the tackles prowess is going to be affected today. Like I said, the Vikings are a pass funnel defense at this point, very, very good against the run. And although I do like Kyron's workload, I am just scared of that Minnesota overall rush defense, to be honest. Sam Darnold higher than a pick. Feel really good about that. That was the one that we shared together. I believe he's done it in all but one game this year.
Yep.
And in fact, 6 of his 8 turnover-worthy plays on the year have actually come in the last 3 games. So he's putting it in harm's way, has gotten picked off a few times. I do think the Rams, especially given the fact that they're going to be desperate to get into playoff contention, will be able to pick him off at least once. And then Aaron Jones, higher than a touchdown, 3 of 5 healthy games this year he has scored. And we have seen his workload actually peak this past week, 77% of the snaps, 88% of the rushing attempts. So we like Aaron Jones to find pay dirt.
Yeah, and the Rams, the nugget that I added to mine on the TikTok side of things was that the Rams are 12th in turnover percentage of drives ending in turnovers on defense, which I think they've caused like 9 turnovers in 6 games, which is pretty good for a team that's not really in winning positions most of the time as well. Yeah. Pretty good that they're in that spot. I also, for those of you guys that are like betting this game, I think the Rams are going to win. I think the Vikings are 3-point road. The Vikings are 3-point road favorites right now. This isn't even like an anti-Vikings take, to be honest. This is just a Rams are getting healthy at the right time. 3-point road or 3-point road dog is also just like a generally decent betting principle if you guys are betting spreads and money lines and things like that. So I don't know. I think the Rams will pull this one out. I think they're trying to keep their season alive. They have 2 of their top receivers healthy now. I like them to win this game. I swear it's not an anti-Vikings take.
It's an anti-Vikings take.
Anyways, let's get to some questions here. We only have about 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get through like 13 questions here. So we have to boogie a little
as much as I love my boy Pop Douglas, you're putting in Tank Dell.
Yeah, you are. You definitely are. And Zach Moss, do you have a better option at running back as well?
Yeah, I mean, let me just take a look there. Who else?
Zach Moss is kind of a full-on bum, so
I mean, but
I would play Algier over Zach Moss. No cap.
Yeah, I think I would too, but I don't feel great about either. All I see though is that I mean, if you're benching one of those receivers, maybe see if you can go get a running back because
yeah, man. Like I look at the usage that Zach Moss has seen the last couple of games, and we're talking about a guy that has 6 carries and 3 targets and 6 carries and 1 target the last 3 games. Like Algier gets more touches than that per game.
No, for sure.
Are you more confident? So here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm not biased in this example, and also too. Don't we forget the receivers. That our best receiver went down?
It was 41-18, bro.
Our best receiver went down while we were winning, and he dropped a touchdown because he got a stinger in the back of his leg.
It was 41-18.
Yeah, obviously we lost the game.
All right. Okay.
Duh, we lost the game. I'm just saying it might have been a closer game at the very least had Mike Evans A, caught the touchdown, and B, not gotten destroyed on that play.
By that logic, if the Cowboys get 1 third down stop, they would have beat the Ravens earlier this year.
Yeah, that obviously you can woulda, coulda, shoulda a lot of wins this year, but like it's you don't project that going into the game that Mike Evans is going to play 1 quarter.
I mean, I didn't project that the Cowboys would be without the 2 best edges, but look where we are.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, that's how we would set your lineup. I would put Algier in, to be honest. If I'm getting 8 to 10 touches from one of these guys, I'm taking Algier's 8 to 10 touches all day.
Yeah. I mean, like they're really close for me that I'll capitulate.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we got Stinky Nerd. I wonder how his high school went.
I'm taking a Freemason.
Daniels.
It's a Freemason. I view Daniels and Hurts the same. If you can tether 1 week without Daniels, which is what the expected timeline is, I think it's a Freemason.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to think that McCaffrey is going to be back within the next 2 games, probably.
And it's an 8-man league. So do you really care about the depth at all? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's close.
You could also, though, make the argument that Jordan Mason's or Jaden Daniels a rookie quarterback. Like he might get better and better as the season goes along. Like we talk about the post-bye rookie bump and all this kind of stuff for like receivers and stuff. Like quarterback is a more complex position than that. Like you probably, it stands to reason that he might be getting better as the season goes along too. And as much
as he's already been better than Hurts.
Yeah, like as much as I like Jalen Hurts, he's definitely playing better ball than Jalen Hurts right now.
Yeah, I would take the Daniel side. It does like I would want to see who you're starting a quarterback, but even so, if you have to stream 1 week of,
if you need a winner, a week win this week or next week or whatever, too, Mason's going to be a viable RB2 for you or whatever. So that
is Caleb Williams available in 8-man leagues? If you have to stream Caleb Williams this week, are you at all like worried? No.
Caleb's
a top 8 quarterback for me this week.
In the video, earlier today, I talked about the top streamers this week being Caleb against the Commanders, Kirk Cousins against the Bucks, and Tua Tagovailoa against the Cardinals. If any one of those guys are available in an 8-man league, I think they're fine plays for sure.
Yeah, and I do have to raise Tua a little bit because I technically only had him at 15, but now that I'm looking at it, I'd probably at least play him over Mahomes, Darnold, and Purdy. Like I don't know where to rank. Actually, I would do Darnold over Purdy. I don't think I took in too aggressively of how much those 2 Niners receivers mean a lot for Purdy. So I am curious about Deebo's status because he didn't practice today, I don't believe, and obviously he's coming off of that.
He did. He was practicing today.
It was yesterday that he didn't practice then.
So he was seen participating is what I saw on my note. I have noties on for Underdog NFL. They always tweet out practice report stuff. That's a great follow, by the way, for those of you guys that are on Twitter. If you want to keep up with who's practicing and that kind of stuff. Underdog NFL. Shout out to Sosa who runs that account.
Yes.
Excellent follow because you get to learn instantly. Like he must have noties on for all the
he told me his process. So like if you guys are unfamiliar, I'm actually good with Sosa. We're actually both from the same city, so we've met up a couple times. And like when he's talking about it, he said like every single he goes to like TweetDeck.
Yep.
Like every single verified source like of teams, like he's constantly scrolling him and his team, and like they're like that.
Yeah, they're
sometimes
fast,
I
man.
see sometimes I see their tweets before I see the actual tweet.
Yeah, I'll see their tweets before like the sleeper updates come through too. So that's if you guys play on sleeper, like sometimes you lose a bit of an edge if everybody's playing on sleeper and everyone has noties on, because you see, like, for example, the other day when Alvin Kamara announced that he was playing through a broken hand, Underdog NFL was first on that.
I reported that last week, eh?
Yeah, and they tweeted that out about 20 minutes before the sleeper update came through, and I already had Kendra Miller on 2 of my rosters after that. And I don't know if it's going to amount to anything, but if it does amount to something, then you just got an edge on your league mates.
Free value, yeah, for sure. By the way, I mentioned that in the short last week when that pick hit on Thursday. And funny enough, I didn't even get to watch the game because I was at the bachelor party, and that's the one that hits.
Yeah, and of course Dylan's in the fucking chat right now, and he's in my league, so I just lost my edge. But is the over 47.5 hitting? So the 73% of the cash is on the over according to PFF, and their market projection has the over they basically project what they think the over under should be, and they have it at 47.9. So they tend to lean over a little bit, but I think that if you're not getting it for 47, that could be like a crucial difference, but between 48 and 47, as far as like the scoring is concerned. I personally would just steer clear of the over under tonight. I actually don't really have a great read on it. I would rather bet the Rams to cover than I would the over under.
So basically you're just betting the Rams implied points at that point.
Yeah, basically. Okay, anyways, let's get through some questions here. 3 and 4 tough decisions this week. Need some advice.
Mason.
This is Mason for sure against the Cowboys run defense, which is pretty Swiss cheese.
This is close. This is Waddle or Smith.
Garrett's
there? Okay, no, Garrett's higher. Sorry, I didn't see Garrett at first. My bad.
So I have it Wilson at 14, Smitty at 16, and then Waddle at 21. So I would have Wilson the highest of this group. It is expected that Adams will receive the Christian Gonzalez treatment.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't actually see Garrett at first. So I have Garrett Wilson this week. And is it not sorting by my own? Okay. Sorry, scratch that.
Is Smitty over Waddle for you, or do you have Waddle over Smith?
I saved it here. 1 sec. It's not showing on the site right now, unfortunately. So I have to go to my other set. Give me a second. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna have to message Joe. The wide receiver portion is not showing up on the site right now.
Okay. Well, off the top of your head, would you rather start Smitty against?
Well, I have it right here. I have Garrett Wilson at 13. I have Devontae Smith at 19, and I have Jalen Waddle at 17. So I'd go. Garrett.
So you have Waddle ahead of Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like Waddle this week. Don't get me wrong. I prefer the matchup for the Bengals and Eagles game environment. It's one of the better game environments to target, and not that the Dolphins Cardinals isn't. I worry that
they're 2 spots apart for me.
Yeah, the tiebreaker for me would just be like, hey, maybe the first half of the game is a little bit of growing pains because Tua hasn't started in a while. That would be like the tiebreaker for me. So, I would go Smith. You would go Waddle. Again, hopefully that is helpful. Obviously, it is. He mentions it's a tough start-sit decision. I don't disagree. I think that is really difficult figuring out which one you're going to leave on the bench there. So, Sawyer, next question here. He would be sending away Joe Mixon. In return, he would be getting Puka Nacua and Jonathan Brooks, which is, for me, this seems like unnecessary risk to take.
Yeah. Like, I absolutely see this as being a possible really good payoff spot for you if you need a receiver. Sure. With that being said, you have Mixon at RB7 rest of the season. I don't know why it shows off just yours and not the consensus.
Well, it wouldn't show yours. I'm on my account.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, is it on yours or is it on the expert consensus right now?
RB7 might be showing the expert rank, but I'm pretty sure these are my rankings.
Okay. Regardless, though, I actually have Mixon at 3. So, I mean, I
got to move Nacua up. So first, like it says 55 overall, wide receiver 29. Now that he's back, I got to move him up. But I still think I prefer the Mixon side of this. But it's close, man. Like I think if you're willing to take the risk on Brooks, Puka and Mixon might end up being a wash. Like it wouldn't shock me if those guys are pretty even in value within a couple of weeks. And then you get like Brooks, the upside of him. But I'm also worried about like the Panthers offense if Bryce Young is going to be starting games. And also Chuba's played very well. Like, is it possible that we don't see Brooks getting a full workload until week 11, week 12 or something like that? Like it's possible.
So I moved Nacua up to my wide receiver 13 rest of the season. But like I said, Mixon's my RB3. So it's just like it's even closer. Or they're both higher in both my rankings, but Mixon being 3 versus 7 is going to be the tilter. Let's just smash through some of these questions as well. We go to B-Fred, Devontae Smith plus Tank Bigsby in exchange for James Conner. Well, considering I would take Devontae Smith straight up over Conner, that's a very
by
easy
a wide margin in my rankings, as you can see there too.
Yeah, very comfortably.
I know a question's about to be an easy don't do that trade when I hear, hey guys, need a running back bad.
Like, that just reeks desperation.
It does, man. Like, you have Tank and Jalen Warren. Again, that's not ideal, obviously, but Amon-Ra,
like, just aim higher. Like, for example, can you buy Jonathan Taylor for that price right now? I'd be much more willing to do that than James Conner. And again, I think that might even be a little expensive for Taylor, but judging from the way you worded this, it sounds like RBs are very, very hard to get in this market. And if that's the case, like, I would take the risk on Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to pay that much for a guy that's not like at least a RB1 projection on most weeks. And
for a guy that's 29 and hasn't finished a full season.
Yeah, like, can you get a slight discount on Achane still before we see him back on the field with Tua? Like, that would be more so what I would be looking for.
Let's say it costs DK plus Warren for Achane. Like, you're doing that easily, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine if somebody's moving Achane, they're probably in a position where they need wins. So maybe they wouldn't want DK. Maybe they would want Waddle or Smith or something like that. But
I just thought DK would have the most market value. That's why.
He might, but if you're trying to trade him now, he might not have the most market value. But yeah, this is definitely a Tank Bigsby and Devontae Smith side of this. My bad. Before this is what I'm considering: Chase, Debo, Coleman, Chubb, Tyrone, Tracy. So you would be receiving Josh Jacobs, Nico Collins in exchange for Joe Mixon.
If you're in a winning position, I'm getting Nico every single time here.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I like Zay Flowers and I like Joe Mixon. And I actually have like a pretty sizable difference between Jacobs and Mixon where if you asked me this 3 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't have had a big difference between the two of them. But yeah, Collins is the needle mover here, and Collins will be back within the next 2 to 3 weeks, right? So,
like, for what it's worth, I think if you put this in with my rankings on the site, it would actually probably pop with the Mixon and Flowers side. But I'm assuming you make this deal knowing that you can eat 2 weeks of Nico Collins being out. And I'm telling you right now, like, Nico Collins, I believe I have him a wide receiver 11 rest of the season, baking in the 2 weeks he's going to be missing. As soon as he's back active, he's going to be a top 3 to 5 receiver in my rankings moving forward.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like there's not many receivers that you would take over Collins rest of the season. Like it's that top 7 kind of group that we were talking about. It becomes a top 8 at the very least. And you can even make the argument that you would take Collins over Neighbors, for example, given the offensive projection. You would take Collins maybe over Lamb if he's not playing as well.
Over Amon-Ra.
I wouldn't take him over Amon-Ra probably, but he would be right up there as like a top 5 to 6 guy.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like there's so many receivers. Like, I could make the case that moving forward when he comes back, he could be like the wide receiver 1 rest of the season. Like, he's still got that in his range of outcomes. So, love the Nico side here. We'll go to Willis's comment here. If that goes through, yep, perfect. I believe this is a Dynasty deal because we see McCarthy involved here.
FSC Glaze for helping this.
Shout out, bro.
Draft. Let's go.
Shout out.
Garrett Wilson and Bub Means. Okay, so Garrett Wilson and nothing for JJ McCarthy and Marvin Harrison Jr.
What am I missing?
Maybe this is a Dynasty trade?
But even still, like,
actually, no, that wouldn't make any sense. Never mind.
But like in redraft, what's the point of putting McCarthy in here?
League?
I mean, like, even still, you could just honestly, you could have gotten rid of McCarthy on that, or maybe you added McCarthy for a meme because I love McCarthy. I don't know, but like, I'm perfectly fine paying up for Marv.
Yeah, and if McCarthy has any value, let's say this is a keeper league, for example, then
like, I'm sorry, apparently I'm the bub guy here, but like, with that being said, he should have no value in a start 9-10 team redraft.
Wide receiver 127 is where he's ranked, and it's too high. So
it's Dynasty.
He said it's Dynasty. Okay,
so
I don't know.
One quarterback league, but even still.
I mean, still, dude. Yeah. That's a great. I mean, this guy's obviously panicking on Harrison. That's basically the point here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce. Yeah, figured out. Shout out Bryce, by the way. I do see him in the chat as well. So
also, like, so when you guys fill out these questions, there is an option for Dynasty or redraft. I don't know if it's not working. Please let us know if you filled out Dynasty and it didn't work. But if it did, if you just missed it and you forgot to fill out the Dynasty portion, also make sure you're filling out the Dynasty portion as well. AJ, shout out to AJ. Maybe I'll grant you a voucher, AJ. You've asked a lot of questions in the chat. I might do the same for Jay Dollarsign as well, because he's asked a lot.
Flet was asking about one too.
Yeah, I could maybe. Sawyer's asked quite a bit too. Like, for Sunday's live stream, we might grant a couple vouchers for a lot of you guys that we noticed are submitting a lot of questions. I know we really obviously appreciate it. So we'd love to answer some free ones there for you.
This is a very interesting question because
it's not for me. It's quite easily Tony Pollard.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you have Pollard ranked this week? A running back.
I have him ranked.
He's my RB21. It's a tough matchup.
And yeah, it is a tough matchup. Points. Yeah, you got a point there. Maybe it's not quite easily Tony Pollard then.
Yeah.
Dell.
So for reference,
the answer I'm going with is that it's not Nakua.
Yeah,
for me. I think these are good enough options that you don't have to play Puka.
So it's funny you mentioned that because I literally have Dell ranked at 25, Puka at 26 in my wide receiver ranking. So I would put Dell over him, and then between Dell and Pollard. So this is a full PPR start 8 league. On one hand, you have Tank Dell in a prime matchup. It's just a matter of does CJ Stroud and Tank Dell himself actually play good football, because we have seen complete opposites of each other in the last 2 weeks. On the other side, it's like, although I feel confident about Pollard's workload, how many points are the Titans going to score this week? So it's like, yeah, I think I would go Dell because I think that's the highest upside, but Pollard's definitely the safest here. Well, I mean,
yeah, the workload that Pollard's been getting has been very safe week over week. So that's kind of what led me towards him right away. But at the same time, yeah, I think I lean Dell for the upside. I think he's the better option.
Yeah, in a full PPR league, does he have Stroud by chance? Can we check quick?
No, he's got Josh Allen.
I mean, that's still a really good spot to be.
Yeah. So I would. Where's Tank Dell's name here?
I would check tight end quick.
What's up?
Check his tight end quick. Does he have any better option than Ertz?
Looks like he's holding out hope for Hawkinson.
Yeah, which it looks like he'll play next week because he actually returned to practice.
Again, this might be a dynasty league also, because I see a shit ton of roster spots, and I can't imagine you'd be rostering this many tight ends in a redraft league. Yeah. So again, please let me know if you guys have filled out the dynasty part of this and it keeps showing as redraft on our end. Please let us know, because we'll let the devs know that that's a bug on our end. But make sure you're filling out your scoring formats going forward. Drop one with rest of season in mind. Odunze, Trey Palmer, Pop Douglas, Ricky Pearsall. It's Palmer, man. But Palmer's not good. Like I like Palmer, the prospect, and he has a role in the offense. He can stretch the field. He's got 4.3 speed. Maybe he catches a bomb touchdown once every 3 games or something with Mike
Douglas is a top 30 wide receiver from your season.
So yeah, well, and the rookie factor of Pearsall and Odunze, what they could bring to the table from an upside standpoint is just worth it. Like, again, Palmer's a fine player. He's a good number 3, number 4 receiver in the NFL, but McMillan's the one in the offense with the upside. It's not Palmer, in my opinion, at least to earn targets. Again, could Palmer be a 14% target share guy and go 3 for 87 and a touchdown one game? For sure. But I don't think you're looking at a guy who's going to alpha the rest of the offense. Like, I just don't think that's in the range of outcomes for him.
I was trying my hardest today to try to trade for Dunze from Badaki. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried about Odunze. I'm not going to lie. That's part of the reason I offloaded the share that I did. And I don't know. We don't want to spoil the trade totally, but what did you think of it? Because it'll be on the next Flock League vlog, which, by the way, if you haven't seen today's, go check that out. That's linked down below in the description. It was very comical, I found. I laughed at it myself, and I'm literally in the vlog as in Danny. But the next vlog, we have 2 trades that went down that we are going to break down in that. And one of them involved me and Badake. And I made a trade that was necessary for the state that my team is in. And a lot of people wanted to roast me for it.
I just didn't like the
player in the deal. So
yeah, like you got a depth for stud deal. The only issue is I think we just disagree on 2 of the assets, because I think 2 of them are just complete urine. Again, I'm not going to say the exact names, but you know exactly who I'm referring to, Corey. So that's the little inside joke we have here. You guys will find out who those 2 players are. But literally, when I took a screenshot in the trade, I just edited the words urine over those 2 players' names.
So the 2 studs in the trade, how far apart are they for you in your rest of season ranking?
Moore and Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to say them out loud.
Sorry.
But
yeah. It's,
say where they're ranked.
Cedric Wilson and Rondale Moore. Cedric Wilson and Rondale Moore. There's a little bit of a discrepancy there.
Really? There's not. And before I made this trade, there wasn't that big of a discrepancy. I think it was like 18 and 24 or something like that going into it. And the more I think about it too, like, it's nice to be watching a better offense and, have an offense that I think has, ascension value as opposed to the offense that I've been watching with the current player that I had. So again, maybe I'm coping, but I think the 2 players that you said are urine to me help my team. I know that they aren't like the best assets in the world, but to me, they help my team. Do
you feel good putting them into your lineup at all?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna have to start both of them this week against you. So
thankfully.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have been starting Zach Charbonnet at running back. At least I'm getting touches from the other guy.
We'll see. All right.
Yeah.
Drake London very easily clears Jacobs. I know the context. You have good receivers. You want to trade for a running back. I get it. With that being said, Josh Jacobs is not even in the same tier.
This isn't even close. This is not even close.
Like, I mean, look at the overall rankings.
Yeah, like you want to. Yeah, exactly. You want to take a slight down tier to Devon Achane or something like that. That's fine if you need a running back. If you want to go after, a slightly like low end RB1 type, even though I would consider Drake London a middle wide receiver 1, and you'd be taking a little bit of a haircut given the wide receiver core you have. Again, that's what you got to do. You have Breece, Javonte, Rico. Those are totally fine to get by. Like, you play Breece as your hero, Javonte and Rico you play matchups with. Maybe you could sell Dell off of a big week after the week. Maybe you could sell BTJ off of a big week for a back-end RB1 or a mid RB1 or something like that. I'm not selling London for this. That's the bottom line of this trade. Next up, we have Peanut Gallery. Tight end spot. We're between Kraft and Laporta, I would imagine.
Kraft. Where do I have these guys ranked in this week's rankings? Because I know they're back-to-back. I don't know which one I had higher. I have Kraft at 9, Laporta at 10.
I have Laporta at 9 and Kraft at 10. So that's where we're at with this. I look at it this way. If you're not playing Sam Laporta this week without Jameson Williams, when are you playing Sam Laporta?
I don't know.
Exactly. So to me, it's...
But see, the question is like, if you're not playing Tucker Kraft against the Jacksonville Jaguars, when are you playing Tucker Kraft?
Yeah, that is... That's also true. That is also true. Let me ask you this. In my home league, should I double tight end it up this week?
With who?
I would be deciding between Kraft and Odunze.
I think you got to play Odunze in that matchup.
Well, need I remind you that my league is half-point first down bonus to tight ends.
Oh, right.
I also have Tracy, too, which you might even say to play over both of those guys.
You got to play Tracy over both those guys.
Really?
Yes. Dude, he had 70% of the snaps this week. What are we talking about?
He also plays the Steelers, and the Giants game has a 36-point over-under.
Dude, I get it. The one way that the Steelers defense has actually been prone to giving up plays in the last few weeks has been through the ground. And Tyrone Tracy has just flat out looked phenomenal. Like, he's not somebody I'm going to sit. And I understand maybe I'm biased because I have him in a lot of spots. But what I've seen from him, watching him play, I can't bench him. I can't. Again, I have him aggressively ranked, and I understand it's a bad situation, but the guy just looks like he can win leagues.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Sleeper. They changed Kyler Murray's picture to John Abruzzi from Prison Break, who's that like replacement guy or that substitution guy in the commercial.
With the video of the Call of Duty. Speaking of release tonight, I'm hopping on the sticks.
I mean, sure. I'm going Laporta here. You're going Kraft again. Sorry, we're not more help for you, Peanut Gallery. And also, Matt, we will refresh the page, and I'm sure your question will show up. Flex decision for this guy here. Obviously, if Samuel is playing, you're putting him in there. You also have options like Hubbard, Jordan Addison, Puka Nacua. That's pretty much it. Okay, what do you have to start 2 of Puka, Debo, Addison,
Puka,
Hubbard, or Tolbert.
Puka and Debo. And
right.
You have Tolbert as a pivot for Debo.
Play, obviously, you're not
as a
playing.
pivot.
Okay, so you're playing Puka tonight.
Yeah.
I guess over Cooper in the wide receiver spot. Make sure you're not burning your flex here.
Yeah.
You're playing Debo in the other flex. If Debo is hurt,
should fill in.
I would play. I guess you can't play Addison though because he's playing tonight.
Tolbert literally plays Sunday Night Football, and he's a perfect fill for Debo.
He is a perfect fill for Debo. That's a good point.
They could play the same game.
Yeah, I mean, Chuba plays at 4, and I think I'd rather play him than Tolbert, to be honest.
I mean, to be honest, if you just want to evade risk, I don't hate that. But also,
you can just pivot to Tolbert.
It's Chuba against Denver. Also, they haven't officially ruled out Brooks yet, have they?
No, they haven't. I would imagine Chuba's still going to be like a back-end RB2 in my rankings, even if Brooks is playing.
Because I can't imagine Brooks
is going to get more than like 25% of the snaps, probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
But anyways, I shall refresh the page.
I know we got one.
I think we had more than one. I saw a couple.
Okay. So then let's rip.
All right, we got a couple here.
4.
We got one from Jason, and then a Dueler. I believe these are some of yours, maybe.
SC is solid, but next 3 games would hate to lose Minnesota. I think he means LA Chargers because he called it San Diego, but that's okay.
San Diego Chargers shout out in 2024 is wild. That the team moved in like 2016.
I'm not tripping. That's what he's saying, right? Because we both know that the Chargers have a good rest. We both know the Chargers.
They have a solid next.
Yeah, we both do. So if you have to stream at quarterback, Tua is my favorite option of those quarterbacks, but we'll plug JD in for now, and then you substitute to Tua if you need to, because that's what you see. He's also asking,
his original question is, do you drop the Chargers defense and keep Minnesota because they've been good, or you just play the Chargers defense the next 3 weeks?
I don't know if I drop Minnesota's defense. I think I'd rather just eat them in like an okay matchup this week against the Rams.
Well, who else do they like? What's the rest of their schedule?
I'm curious, but like, dude, they've been fucking great this year.
Yeah. I have to decide. I don't know if you noticed this in the Flock League. I'm over the roster limit and I can't decide who to drop. So I'm just going to wait.
That's why you were asking for Fab for Cedric Tillman. Trust me, I knew what happened.
Well, yeah. I would
also we have 5 minutes, so let's get through these questions.
Yeah, I know. I just want to see really quick because I'm answering the question. The Vikings defense. I'm just seeing who they have next schedules. Rams, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Yeah, you probably could just roll with the Vikings defense if you wanted to, for sure. However, the Rams are winning tonight, so that might throw a wrench into your plan.
So then put Gibbs, Mixon, and HN in the flex. I mean, like they're all going to be in the lineup.
HN, I mean Lamb, obviously. This is a crazy lineup.
But there's no flex.
How the hell do you have this team?
Okay, if there's no flex, then I don't want to sit you. No, dude, not again. Remember last week we had to answer a question sitting Jahmyr Gibbs and he popped over 30.
Who are you sitting here?
It's Gibbs, but like, remember last time we said that?
You gotta sit Gibbs. I'm comfortable playing Gibbs over HN if you're worried about that.
They're back to back for me, so like I'm really cool either.
Yeah, I do. I also have them 8 and 9 respectively, but yeah,
you have Gibbs at 9, HN at 8.
I do. Yeah,
same.
Dueler's got a bunch of wide receiver here. He goes, I feel like Dobbs could go off against Jacksonville. JSN, if no DK and Dell couldn't be involved more. I don't know. Help. Okay, I don't know how many you need of these options, but the one that I would play.
Them? Yeah, let's just rank them quick. So Brian Thomas is 1. Keep scrolling down.
Brian Thomas is 1. Debo, if he plays, is 2.
Tank Dell's 3. Puka's 4.
Yeah,
and then JSN Dubs.
And then I have it JSN Dubs. Yeah, I actually like Dubs this week, but yeah, I have JSN slightly ahead of him. I'm getting a little bit fed up with JSN these days, though. He's kind of
no Metcalf though.
Yeah, probably. I know, but he's also just like not been that good. Like it would not shock me at all if Lockett is just the guy this week.
No, I wouldn't be surprised either. Let's go to the next comment though, because we don't have a lot of time.
Should I start Puka? Okay, well, Bucky Irving is going to be out by the sounds of it, so you're probably starting Tank Bigsby there. You have Dell at wide receiver right now. Your options
you're starting Puka.
Yeah, you're starting Puka here. Ridley, Odunze, and Leggett, you're going Puka there.
All day.
Yeah, so Puka goes in your wide receiver.
Put him at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Sub him and put
Yeah, I'll just move these guys around here. Where do we go? Dell.
So he knows.
And then Puka. There we go. Just to make sure that those are correct. But appreciate the questions from all of you guys here. Let's see. Yep. I think this should be the last one from Dueler here. Again, another Puka related question. So
maybe he's saying Puka or Dell because so he's got it.
This is the same question as last time. He just basically organized it a little bit better, I think.
I mean, I have to put Debo in over. It's weird now. Okay, Puka and Debo instead of Dubs.
Yeah, like the way I would set this is Debo's going into your lineup, and Puka is gonna. I guess Debo's gonna be in your flex here because he's playing later. That's the way I would work it out, especially knowing that you're also starting Kraft. That also is kind of a tiebreaker against Dobbs as well. But this is the way we would set it. And then of course, if Debo is out, I don't think you have any pivot options here, but I do know the Seahawks play at 4. So maybe
Pitts over Kraft.
Yes, Pitts. So I guess Pitts over Kraft as well. And Debo is playing at 8, JSN playing at 4. So hopefully, by at least the 4 p.m. slate that that Debo is playing or not. But yeah, appreciate all the questions. Let me take a look really quick just to make sure we don't have any more. And then we shall try and get through a question or two that's in the chat. I don't know if we're going to get to any, but you can also, as you just saw there on the
Jason submitted this.
Yeah, he did submit that. Yes. Yeah, okay. We're good on questions, so we are totally fine there. Again, if you guys did not get your question answered, apologies for that. We did get through all the flock questions. We were a little late getting to the live stream, so apologies for that. But yeah, we already got to the pick'ems that Dylan was talking about there.
Pick 2 points per reception. Jones, Achane, Cook, BTJ. I'm going with Achane and BTJ.
Yeah.
I do like Jones tonight, but like I think you got to go.
I would play 2 points per reception's a lot. Yeah, I'd probably go BTJ and Achane. I want to say James Cook.
Tough matchup for BTJ,
there, but I think those are all good, really good options though.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's a tough matchup for BTJ, but I said that last week. I think at this point, like BTJ looks like he's going to be a superstar, and I mean, we glazed him so much this week that I don't think we have to spend too much more glazing him. Because if you guys are unfamiliar, go check out the 2024 rookie redraft that we did. A ton of BTJ glazing in that video. Shout out the boys. Johnny Munt first touchdown. That's quite the show.
Yeah, that is.
I kind of fuck with it though.
Bryce talking about his question here. I have my team synced and clicked the ad league. Okay, so I'll let the devs know that that's on the back end. That for some reason it's not pulling that it's Dynasty and it's just saying redraft there. Appreciate that. And AJ actually messaged me on Twitter and said that it is a bug on our end. But yeah, appreciate you guys for joining us again. If you do want to tail some of these picks, I'll throw mine up one last time here. I'm actually I don't know if you noticed this. Mine is a flex entry, so you can see it only $80. And the reason it's only $80 is because I only need 4 of these to hit to 2.5x, or if all 5 of them hit, I get $80. Danny went all, balls to the wall here, obviously, and went with the 5 picks for 200 if you guys want to tail this, but he also got the Luka Doncic free pick in there to help him out. So it is basically a 4-pick'em entry. And again, if you want to tail them, you can get a free pick if you use promo code FSE when you sign up. You'll get this Matthew Stafford free square to throw in. And again, up to 1,000 in bonus cash using promo code FSE. So appreciate you guys for joining us here. Again, hopefully we got to some of your questions, and our weekly rankings are up to date too if you guys do need other help, and we will be live Sunday as well.
Yes, sir. But with that being said, peace out. We'll talk to you soon.
You stealing my outro?